Welcome back. I'm Tom Winkler, creator of Whack Your Boss and Duty Man, and I'm doing commentary today on a drawing that I did last night. I started to draw this guy. I made him kind of out of shape with a big belly and the droopy arms, and I didn't have a direction necessarily, and I thought, well, he's got no shirt on. Maybe I'll make him wearing like a bathing suit. So I draw little short pants, and then I say, okay, I guess I'm doing a drawing of a guy at the beach. But then I say, well, you know what? It looks like maybe he's sort of standing on a diving board. A little more action if he's standing on a diving board rather than standing on a boring old beach with a bunch of stupid shells. On to my second figure. I usually draw 3 on each one of these lessons so that I have got 3 sections that I can turn into YouTube shorts later. This guy's running. It looks like he's running. And then at the last moment I say, wait a second. What if he's jumping? What if he's this guy on the right? Jumping off the diving board. And now I realize I'm coming up with a progression 3-panel drawing. I like the idea of putting the arm inside of the body here, just a little more of a jumping effect. The arm could be on the outside, but that's a little more of a running sort of a look, so I go with this look here. And as we talked about, initially I drew him running, so I have him sort of standing up straight and tall, you might say. But now that he's jumping, I think, well, why not play around with the idea of him doing like a belly flop, or at least turning in the air, have it be a little more dynamic. Just like having him standing on a diving board is more dynamic than having him stand on a beach, turning him like this makes it a little more dynamic. And so I'm going to have him land in the water, and I think to myself, how can he do that? And I was reminded of one of these videos where the guy jumps off the side of the pool and he is shocked to find out that when he jumps, here it is right here, when he jumps, he hits the water, kersplash, no, it's ice. And so I thought of drawing all these cracks here as his head smashes through the ice, but he's more like he's stuck. Now, in a perfect world, I'd have him a sound effect here, like, you know, sort of like a boing as his legs and hands vibrate, because his head is stuck in the ice. He's crashed, he's burned, he's dead as a dodo. Add a few ice chips, and I suddenly realized that possibly, some of them could look like a face here in his back. Those ones on the bottom could look like teeth. That little line could look like an eye. See what I mean? If you add a smile, I know that's more exaggerated, but I don't want anybody to be confused. I want it to be clear that his head is under the ice and he is smashed. And now it's time to take a step back and assess the situation. We've got 3 characters and a landscape here. Time to arrange them maybe just a little bit better so that we've got a nice arc where he's really diving and landing. Now, we all normally, I mean, in the United States, I should say, and in most countries in the world, we read from left to right. So that means most people will start by looking at the guy with his head in the ice, and they'll read the drawing from left to right. Now, but the guy's jumping, so then he will lead the eye back to the head in the ice drawing. Now, we'll talk more about this later, but this makes a nice loop if we've got this kind of a setup, rather than flipping it the other way so that our diving board guy would be on the left and we would read from left to right. I'll show you more later. We throw in our background here, the pool, but look what happens here. That, for me, for my taste, is coming way too close to the diving board. We want things to breathe nicely. So time to move him up and back a little bit, and we want everything to have its own space around it. I'll show you later when I add the trees in the background. You don't want trees coming between your characters so that there's a tree between his butt and the other guy's belly, or between this guy's hand and the forehead of the middle guy. We want everybody to have a nice, breathable, easy, clean silhouette. That's another word to use for it too, a nice silhouette. This time I draw the pool with the water first. Just go ahead and cut out the middleman. I don't need a sharp edge. I can just use that blue water look. And now we've got, as I said, plenty of room between the edge and the diving board. Now, even as I'm adding color to the pool, I'm noticing something here that's really bugging me. That edge of his bathing suit is cutting right across the line of the pool. We'll fix that in a moment. But I want to show you, this is what I mean. If we read from left to right, which we do, there it ends right there. That's the end of the drawing. We read from left to the middle to the right. Boom, that's it. It just, the whole plot stops. We have to then move our eyes, just go back to the left and start again. There's nothing leading our eyes back to drawing number 1. We have to sort of force our eyes to the left. So this kind of a layout is a drawing killer. Rest in peace. It doesn't give us one of these, a nice infinity loop. The infinity loop works much better here, where we read from left to right, we wind up on him, and we go back to the left. Beautiful, back and forth, nice, easy flow. That's what we want in a drawing. Now, where to put the trees? I don't want to put the tree here, because his head is crashing right into it. We don't want it there because it's interfering. We want to be sure to have a nice, clean, open area. I know I said it a lot, but If we're going to throw some trees in to show that it's the desert or Palm Springs, we can throw the trees in over here. It sells the idea that there's trees. Just a hint. Now, is it daytime? Is it nighttime? You play along with this wheel here in Procreate, you could suddenly come up with all sorts of scenarios where it's afternoon, it's night, it's day, and playing around with it can give a whole new story idea. Now, initially we had a blue sky in the background, and the blue bathing suits, though, against it, kind of were just maybe a little too similar, so go ahead and do yellow, and it feels like a bit of a sunset. Now, here's a mistake. Look at that. See the way that tree goes right down to that line of the corner of the pool? Got to correct that one, at least for my taste anyway. It's really important to have no tangents, to have nothing blocking, nothing parallel or perfectly centered against another line. We want to have things have their own spaces, their own flavors, their own areas. And another one of those to correct would be our guy's bathing suit. As I mentioned before, the seam of his pants goes right along with that background of the line of the pool. So I have two choices: to raise the level of his pants higher so that it's not cutting across the pool, or I should say cutting parallel with that line of the pool, or do it the other way, where I color it in and I move it down. Personally, I find that dropping it down works a little bit better. After all, he's moving down into the pool, so it's better to have the edge of his bathing suit tell the story of downward motion. What's this? Fingers, tangent, touching the green edge of the landscape. Gotta fix that one. Throw in a few clouds. Nice, easy, breezy clouds, nothing too complicated. Don't want to complicate or interfere with the characters at all. Just make things nice and smooth and easy. That one almost looks like a little fart cloud, but we'll stick with it. No, I guess we don't. I always forget what I do in the end. Hey, do me a favor, click subscribe if you saw what you liked today. If you liked what you saw today, is that how you say it? And ring the bell so you'll see and hear when I upload something new. And thanks for being a fan. Take care.